Hey guys, welcome to Sunday Spirits. My name is Vanessa, and today we are doing a painting and meditation course. We start off with a few minutes of grounding meditation, and then we're going to dive into a really cool painting that I have here for you guys. We go step by step, and all of the preliminary sketches for the painting are available for free download in my shop. So that's going to be in the description box. Let's go ahead and put the painting stuff to the side and let's get grounded for about 5 minutes of just deep breathing and meditation. So let's take a deep breath in and release. You're gonna fill it up to your lungs and feel your belly increase in size. Breathe and release. Through the mouth, a big audible sigh. Let's breathe in. And a big sigh here, release. What we want to do is gently close your eyes if you have not already. Let's go ahead and relax into the position that we're in. If you are seated or standing or laying down, let's go ahead and feel the ground around us. Whatever is supporting you, any points of contact, let's be present with everything surrounding us. Let's take another cleansing breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Our focus today, our intention for this painting is the divine feminine. This is our moon goddess, our beautiful yin energy. We're going to soak in the divinity of our inner feminine today. Let's take another breath in and out. Let's proceed by relaxing our bodies from the top of our head. Let's go ahead and release any tension in the eyes, unclench the jaw, drop and relax those shoulders. Let your abdomen breathe and relax with every breath. Your hips, let them relax. Your thighs, knees, and finally your feet. Let's circulate this energy. Let's command our creative chakra today, our solar plexus, to please open and expand gently with the breath. Our sacral, creative, fiery energy, let's open and expand with the breath. And our heart center, that beautiful, loving, nurturing energy, let it expand, grow with the breath. Let's take one more deep breath in through the nose and release any tension, any negative energy now. Beautiful. As we slowly come back to our bodies, let's wiggle our toes, wiggle our fingers, come back into this present moment, and let's focus our intention for this painting on the divine feminine and our mindfulness. You may slowly start to open your eyes. Let's wiggle it out. Let's get ready for our paintings. Today, I decided to give us a base of just pink color. I felt that that was pretty good for a Divine Feminine painting. So we're going to be working with pretty primary regular colors. I decided to kind of see where this one takes us. I have here on my palette the yellow, white, and red. You can see that palette's kind of dirty, but these are the colors we're going to be using. So off the bat, I'm going to kind of mix a dark pink here on my palette, and this is going to be what we are going to sketch with. And as always, we're going to be loose, we're going to have fun, and I'm going to start here in the center, and I'm going to just create a rough circle. Now again, with acrylics, we will be working in layers, so it dries very quickly. We're going to be just layering one on top of the other for this exercise. Just make a rough circle outline, come up with a line this way, and bring it back down. We're making sort of diamond-ish shapes, I guess you could call them. If the paint isn't lasting you, go ahead and either add more or just work with water. Since we're not blending into the paint just yet, it might not be as fluid, so you're welcome to just add a little touch of water into your paint, and this is really going to help us work with more of an underpainting as opposed to stark colors. When I think of the Divine Feminine, I think of a lot of times when I was a tomboy growing up, you know, the video games, the really into anime. When we kind of suppress that feminine side as young adults, and we convince ourselves that being masculine is cooler and all of that, it really is just the inner feminine trying to express itself in different ways. It's all about releasing, it's all about flowing. I just added some stark white in the center of our eyelids just to create a depth of field for right now. So giving us something to work with. And when you start painting, especially as a beginner, just try to see it as lines. Really what we're doing, we're just making lines and shape and negative shapes and things like that. Shadows, highlights. When you break it down into steps, it becomes a lot easier to just see it for what it is. And what it is something not very complicated. I'm taking a bit of a mustard yellow. I am going to be using the Liquitex Basic acrylics for all of this. So this is the one that I'm going to be using. And I'm mixing it with a touch of white. And I'm going to simply fill in those shapes that we need. I find whenever I'm painting, mixing the colors right on the canvas is my preferred way of doing it. There's artists that'll tell you, to mix it on your palette and things like that. This is what I prefer, is to just give it depth and dimension right here on the canvas. So as you can see, I went in with the yellow, and now I'm bringing in the highlights of the white right in here, and it gives us that rounded effect. So nice and easy. Feel free to play around with just the regular yellow, the white yellow, or the white, and you'll find what rhythm looks good for you. And if there's ever any topics that you guys want to discuss while we're painting together, any particular things that you guys want to go in depth on, I'm all ears. Feel free to leave it on the comment section, and I'll be happy to include that in one of my videos. And I'm just repeating the same pattern, putting the dark yellow on the edges and white on the inside, and letting them blend together with as much texture as you like. Remember, we're here to be creative, we're here to have fun, we're here to express ourselves and to forgive ourselves when it doesn't look exactly like you want it to, because you know what, art is art, and I guarantee it's beautiful. Personally, I'm one who has a bunch of different styles. I love experimenting with mediums, subject matter. It's just something that I've always loved to do. And growing up, because I've been painting for my entire life, I always felt kind of inadequate for not having a set style. And that was always something that like I was like, oh man, this is what an artist is supposed to do. They're supposed to, all their paintings are supposed to look the same, and all that. I've slowly grown out of that and just learned to love my work for what it is. And I am filming this just in time for the Lionsgate portal is this Sunday, so I'm filming this on Friday. And 8/8 Lions portal is gonna be so powerful for manifestation. So if we're talking about goddess energy, manifesting, oh my god, that is like the peak, the funnest part of the feminine energy. Because manifestation, what it is trust. Trust in the universe. Trust that ask and you shall receive. And the feminine is very sure that she will receive. And I say she, but the divine feminine, the inner feminine, we're all made up of yin and yang, male or female or binary. We all have qualities of both. It's okay if it's not blending entirely. It's okay if you have some white, pretty starkly being it's white, and that's okay. Just make sure your paint strokes feel good, and I promise it will also look good. I've also always had this thing with rushing my work. Like if it doesn't, and this is, I'm going to therapy, you guys, but this is something that I personally have dealt with in all aspects of my life. Like, it's not working out, trash it, nope, not finishing it, didn't like it the first time, or, things like that. And that can happen, but being deliberate about seeing a project through to the end, and I'm sure, a lot of artists will agree with this, is extremely important. Because when you're behind the paintbrush, you're your own worst critic, and it can really get discouraging if you are not completing anything because you don't think it's good enough, so you really have to work with yourself in that aspect. And it's a form of self-love, it really is. So I just made a little peach right here. I mixed that dark red that we had with that light yellow that we have, and I just got like a nice in-between shade, kind of like a darker peachy that we're getting. And I'm gonna come around the edges of the first circle that we made, and I'm just gonna fill in with that color. And again, this is base. This is our base color. So we will be adding a few more layers. And even as you saw, like we just did the petals in the pink, and they were dry by the time we came back to it. So acrylic is really good for beginners. Easy, simple. If it dries, you use water. Oils are a little bit more advanced because you have to use like different kind of chemicals and things like that. But that's personally my preferred method of painting, is with oils. So your white, I'm using white for the highlights, and I'm using that peachy tone for our mid-tone. We're gonna go in with shadows in a little bit, but just where, especially if you do makeup, if any of you guys do makeup, where the light would naturally hit, where you would normally put your highlighter, you're gonna go in with the light, and then everything else, just put the mid-tones in for right now, and we will contour very shortly. And this is also very important when you're painting, and this is all levels will tell you this. You always want to step back and look at it. And periodically step back, look at it, step back, look at it. This is going to give you a good idea of where you're going. So when you're up close and personal, maybe something looks distorted, maybe you need to fix this and that. I'm going with a little bit more red, and I'm also going to add a little bit of water to my palette because it is drying up already. And I would recommend whenever you're mixing your colors, just mix enough. Mix enough, because you never know. You want to correct something, this and that. So as you can see, my style is very fluid, very, painterly. You can see the marks, and, it's very much part of it. So don't be afraid to just have fun. You can always just say that it's your style, and that's how you like to paint. And if you guys don't already, definitely follow me on social media. I'm SunnySpirit999. Don't ask me why I did 999 instead of any other angel number, because I did. Okay, I didn't know that it was like about release. Like the number 999 is traditionally used for you know, when you need to let things go and stuff like that. But you know, it just felt right at the time, so that's what I went with. So that's my permanent dye. I'm adding just some plain red over here on the cheeks because we're using such a limited palette. You can kind of experiment with what's a shadow, what's a highlight, you know, what do you like. But I'm using stark red for the cheek. Let's get some blue in here. Whenever you don't want to use black in a piece, which a lot of artists will tell you, you know, for classical painting, not to use black in a piece, and you can always use like a dark blue if you want a shadow. And I feel like that technique of not using black, it just makes everything a lot lighter. You know, I don't know exactly what it does. I'm sure it does something. I'm sure it does. So I just got a nice dark purple here. I want it to be more on the reddish side to stay with our color palette, but I just wanted to darken up. And I am totally guilty of not using enough brushes. I'll like get stuck on one brush and then like never see the rest of my brushes. But it's definitely good to have a good amount of brushes. I normally use like 3 or 4 total. One can be blending, one can be highlights, one can be shadows. If you ever mess up, again, the good thing with acrylics is that it's very versatile. You can correct anything with this medium. So just grab some water and blend it out, or wait for it to dry and just paint over it. Alright, so I'm going in and just defining a bit of those petals as well. I'm using the same technique, just laying the color, and then just my biggest advice is contrast. When I first started in art school, that was my biggest. It was our whole class. Our whole class was like having issues with contrast, and you have no idea. Like as soon as we started implementing that into our work, it was just night and day. And contrast is when you put a light next to a dark. When you're not afraid to go dark. You know, you use as much of your shadow, intensify your shadow as much as you like. Especially when it comes to drawing and painting. That's what's really gonna make your pieces pop. One thing that I didn't get to do while we were meditating, I always like to ask my spirit guides to be with me while I paint. And the last time that I did a video, last week's video, I didn't share this on screen, but I didn't like it. I was like nearing the end before I did the background, and I was like, oh my god, this looks so bad. Like, I don't even want to post this. Oh my god, I'm like so disappointed, whatever. And then I started just flowing with the background, just giving that painterly effect. And that's when I started talking about, you know, like the ego and things like that, and like how you can be scared sometimes, but it's perfectly fine. And I know that was definitely a channeled message for me and for anyone else listening. So I'm just defining the edges a little bit more, and you can see right away how it really did bring dimension to the piece. And it can be kind of intimidating sometimes when you're just starting with, you know, the color pink, and then suddenly, you know, like you're gonna make a whole piece with it. So just taking it step by step is really the best thing you can do. And if you're following along with me on your own piece, I'm sorry that I'm going a bit fast, but you are welcome to pause at any time, catch up a little bit. Let's go back to the face a little bit, because I do want to clean her up. I'm going to go in with that same shadow, that same purple shadow. I do want to darken the facial features up just a bit, so I'm going to add just a touch of black to that purple color that we made. And to adjust the thick and thin of your line is all going to be in the pressure of your brush. So, you know, lift it up, press it down. That's how you're going to get the thin, thick kind of situation going. I'm going to go back in with the white, and we're just going to go in the center of the eyelids. Just do this quick little swish motion. It's going to give us a highlight right here to work with. And then we're going to go in with that shadow. I'm going to make it a little bit more red, because I want the face to be a little bit more red. And we're going to bring it in and blend it with that white that we just did. Either with a clean, I would recommend just a clean hard brush, or a clean, kind of wet brush. Bring it in, and my brush strokes are going towards the white. Alright, I think I need a little bit more white just to round it out. And this right here is kind of what you would call a contour line. It really helps bring dimension to the shape. So just think about what a rounded figure would typically look like and just kind of mimic the directions and things like that. I'll definitely do a video just on exercises for you guys if you want. Kind of blending with a bit of white, mostly dry brush. Going back in with that original pink. Cleaning up the edges that maybe weren't touched upon too much. And again, with acrylic painting, pressure, with anything, honestly, because this applies to, this can apply to drawing, charcoal, anything. Pressure of your brush is really important. If you want a thin line, if you want a thick line, if you want it, dark or light, is all going to be on the pressure of your brush. So I'm kind of casting a shadow around her nose right here. Oh man, that's alright. If you ever need to erase anything on your canvas, just put some water on there, rub it in, comes right off. See, I'm grabbing some of that original light pink. I'm gonna make it a little lighter, just a bit. And I'm kind of dry brushing, just very minimal paint, just to give us a bit of a touch of that color, not too much. Around the cheeks, kind of rounding her out again, just with those brush strokes. And I'm just doing some stark highlights now. So right here, again right here, bridge of the nose, point of the nose, a little bit on the eyebrows. Okay, she looks good. I like it. And this right here, I wanna put it back into its original yellow, so I'm just putting some water in here. I'm blending it out. And again, it's that easy with acrylic paint. Alright, once again, make sure you're stepping back from your piece periodically, just to make sure everything looks good, everything looks how you want it to look. I'm going to grab that dark purple, and I'm going to outline right here, crescent. Don't worry too much about exactly what it looks like. Just make a big U. Try to get it as even as possible. I don't know about you guys, but it's the middle of summer over here and it's just pouring constantly, which is nice until you have to go out. I just added some water to kind of blend it in a little bit. That red, just a plain red. And let's fill this in right here. Don't worry about it looking perfect right now. This is layer 1. So we're just giving ourselves a base to work with. And I do want to bring the pink over here. So we are going to let it melt into each other, both the red and the pink. Kind of pink shoulders, red body, I guess you can say. It's just going to give us a nice painterly effect when we use a bigger brush. Some more colors, dimension. And feel free to experiment with textures, directions, whatever feels good for you. That's what we're going for. Is a feel-good paint session. If it starts drying and you want to play with it a little bit more, just add some water. It's gonna get you a little bit more blended, a little bit more time to experiment as well. The cool thing about talking through my paintings is that it helps me become a lot more mindful in this space as well. I'm very deliberate about the intentions, very deliberate about keeping you guys up to date with what I'm doing. And I'm normally incredibly introverted, so I would consider that a pretty big win. Yeah, I think I like this more. I do want some of that bubblegum pink to shine through. I like that. So maybe we'll give each other a little bit of both. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. And again, I'm experimenting with texture, line, color. You guys should comment your zodiac signs. I would love to know. I am a Libra sun, Virgo moon, and Pisces rising. And I love my Pisces rising. I feel like it makes me esoteric and cool. Yeah, definitely let me know in the comments. I'm bringing it down with that texture into that pink that we created. And I'm just kind of layering them. A little bit. Bringing some yellow down here. So you know what I do want to do is fix that one. Yeah, so I'm just basically outlining the shape a little bit more, kind of making it a little bit thicker. And I'm using that same dark purple from earlier to do so. Right in the middle, I'm going to put some white in there and let it blend together. So just let it do its thing. Just go back to our really pretty pink color. And just go on the outline like so. And I just want to outline the petals really. Got some white sneaking in there, which I like. That's why I say like I love just letting the colors flow freely. I think that's when they look the best. Let's just let pink kind of come back in here as well. Have you guys ever seen Practical Magic? That's like one of my favorite movies. I always just watch it periodically just because. And you see how easy it is whenever you feel like you might have made a mistake or anything like that. You rather just paint over it, use some water. It's really easy to just have a good time with these things, I feel like this was so much fun to do. What do you think? Yeah? I like her. I think she's pretty. I like my yellow and pink thing going on, so I like her. I think she's done. Let me clean this line up really quick and then I'll say bye to you guys. Because I do have to go pick up my daughter. So I hope you enjoyed. Alright. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you liked it. This piece will be available for purchase on my shop, sunny-spirits.com, and as well as the free printable download so you guys can follow along with me and we can kind of paint this together. If you haven't already, subscribe. Hit the little bell so you get notified whenever I publish. And I will be publishing every Mindfulness Monday. I hope you guys feel your inner feminine with our cute. You're super cute piece. Thank you so much.